Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new sports stuff video. Today we'll be introducing our brand new format where we'll be doing a podcast. That's right, me and my new partner Aaron. What's up, Aaron?
What's up, man? Glad to be here.
We're very excited that we finally be able to do something like this. We both have been wanting to do something like this for a while, but now we're finally actually doing it and not just talking about it. So if you guys do enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when we post next and we go live next. The first topic we'll be talking about is Nick's Picks of the Week. That's right, Nick's Picks is back. So what we're going to be doing, let me try and figure out how to do this. Hold up. I did not set this up before. Window capture. There we go. Google. Cool. That's it. Awesome. So we're going to be doing this. There's going to be a lot of hiccups, but we got it. All right. So can you see? I have the screen share as well. Share your screen.
Oh, you can screen share? Okay, cool.
Yeah. So screen share.
That's fancy.
Be Google. Go live. Awesome. So I'm going to be showing off my pick. So for the first pick, I have the Bills over the Patriots. I feel like that's a pretty consensus overall. Everyone's okay with that. What do you agree?
Yeah, it's a gimme. The Patriots have been pretty good this year, better than expectations. But the Bills have just been, they're Super Bowl favorites for a reason.
Yeah, they're the Bills. I have the Browns over the Texans, which I also don't think is a shocker. Even with Deshaun Watson 2-year suspension finally coming off, I do think that he'll be able to do whatever he wants against this defense.
Agree. I think the Texans will put up a fight. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but I think the Browns will win ultimately.
Thank God. Next one is an easy game for the Ravens. Broncos at Ravens. Home game for the Ravens. I think that's just gonna
let's ride.
Come on, yeah, let's ride. Nah, let's ride to an L. It's okay. Let's ride to an L. I don't think this locker room will survive. In fact, later in the episode, we'll be talking about the coaches on the hot seat, and the Broncos will be making a showing. So I definitely think that the Broncos are just imploding right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Next is the Chargers at the Raiders. I do have the Chargers winning this. I think that's also not a shocker.
I really like the Raiders. I think, their coach is going to get them better. I really like Derek Carr, but they got the pieces. They just need to start showing up. But the Chargers, Justin Herbert's been top 5 quarterback since he came into the league. So, yeah, the Chargers over the Raiders there for sure.
There, that's how I do this. Sorry, I was figuring it out. Next is the Chiefs at the Bengals. I almost chose the Bengals. I almost did. This is a rematch of the AFC Championship game last year. Wait, no, was it the championship or the divisional? Whatever. It's a rematch from the playoffs. To where the Bengals. It was a
championship.
It was a championship. Cool. Yeah, the Bengals, they beat the Chiefs last year. I think this year the Chiefs are just better than them, and they've been better all season. So I think it's gonna be a really easy win for them.
I agree.
Next is the Jets at the Vikings. Now, I love the Jets defense, but man, I love Justin Jefferson. I want to see. Hold on. Sauce Gardner versus Justin Jefferson. Oh my lord, I didn't even think about that. He's on my fantasy team, bro. Hold up. I'm gonna see what time that game is. I hope.
It's not prime time. We're good.
It's not prime time.
It's not prime time. We're good.
I want the entire world to see Justin Jefferson beat up on Sauce Gardner. Well, I'm watching that game. That's definitely the number one game in my book. That'll be fun. Sauce Gardner versus Justin Jefferson. That's gonna be insane. Next is Jaguars at Lions. Again, I love the Lions this year.
I do too.
Trevor Lawrence, he had a pretty good showing last week. But I think it's just completely different. It's the Lions. Like, I don't care. The Ravens were playing bad last week. The Lions are on a roll.
I really like the Lions this year as well. I really think the Jaguars have a bright future, but they're not in it this year. I think the Lions still have a playoff chance, so they're going to be fighting hard.
Well, I think they found their coach and their quarterback. I think they found the pairing finally.
We'll see. I don't know. Jared Goff is good. He is what they intended him to be. He's a good fill-in. Until they find an actual young guy.
I was talking about Trevor Lawrence. I was talking about the Jags. They found their
quarterback. Oh, Trevor Lawrence.
No. I don't think Jared Goff is a future.
Dan Campbell is a great coach.
Oh, I love him. I can't wait till he gets his hands on one of these young quarterbacks.
But 100%, yeah. the they finally did find their over in Jacksonville.
Yeah, they
For
tried
both of
Urban
us.
Meyer, but I think Doug Peterson is the perfect guy for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Next is the Steelers at the Falcons. Again, this is a game I think the Steelers could easily win, but I think the Falcons they're gonna run the balls as they want.
Yeah.
Is TJ Watt back yet?
I don't think he is.
TJ
You
Watt.
go ahead and pull that up real quick. I really like the Steelers. I like Mike Tomlin. He's a great coach, great person. The Falcons are going to win this one. I feel like, don't know what they're doing at QB, and this is a QB driven league, 100%. So,
I mean, he's still
right
not
there.
back. He's still not back.
Back. I still have
Wow.
the Falcons there.
Yeah, I think the Falcons gonna win that. That's gonna be a close game though. Next is another game that can go either way. Tennessee at the Eagles. I'm gonna go the Eagles just because of how dominant they are. But that I can't take out Mike Vrabel in that team. He's been leading them to wins for the last 3 years. They shouldn't have won.
No, for sure. I mean, they don't have a quarterback at Tennessee. I don't care what you say about it. I don't care what anyone.
And they're still winning. They're still winning.
Like Favreau. Yeah, but they're not going to do anything with it. They need a quarterback, and as soon as they can get a quarterback, they'll be pretty good.
That's another team that they need to go for a young quarterback, a developmental quarterback. I mean, they have Malik Willis, but I don't think Malik Willis is the answer long term. Next is the Dolphins at the 49ers. I do have the protege beating the teacher. I think Mike McDaniel is insane with I don't know what it is, what he takes as drugs, but man, his energy is infectious. I love Mike McDaniel. I think they easily win against the 49ers.
Okay, this is the first disagreement we're going to have. We actually have agreed on all of our picks, but San Francisco, I really like San Francisco in this game. I think they match up well against the Dolphins. It's going to be a shootout, but I think Jimmy G comes through for him. I think the 49ers have a good chance of running the table all the way to the rest of the playoffs. I think they are sneaky Super Bowl favorites, and so I really like the 49ers for this week and for the rest of the season.
Wow, okay. I'm shocked. I'm not going to lie. I thought that'd be an easy layup for us to. Wow, okay. What do you guys say about the Colts and the Cowboys then? Are you taking the Cowboys over the Colts?
Yeah, it's a fun story, but I think the fun story ends this week.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys they're a good team. They're not a great team. They do what they need to do, and I think they'll beat out a worst Indianapolis team this week.
I don't know. Jeff Saturday might do some magic to where he beats one of the best teams in the NFC. Next, I have the Packers at the Bears. I do have the Packers winning. Honestly, only because I don't know Justin Fields' status. I would pick him if Justin Fields is 100% healthy.
It's not known. They have not come out with it as far as I know, as of the resident Bear fan on this podcast. They have not, to my knowledge, have not come out with information. If Justin's healthy, I'm going with the Bears. If he's not, Green Bay 100%.
I mean, Darnell Mooney, he's been hurt. Again, he's out for the season now, but he's been hurt and he's still been winning. Like, I mean, not winning. He's still been playing amazing. And I think that this Packers team.
We'll cover that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Later on into the episode too, but yeah, for
Justin
sure.
Fields has been.
Team is a joke.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. I think the Packers could easily implode. And is Aaron Rodgers playing this week? Because I know he left early last week.
Both quarterbacks are in question going into Sunday's game, and we'll find out more later in this week.
We could have a Jordan Love versus Trevor Siemian game. And I would probably take Jordan Love over Trevor Siemian right now.
This might be one of the lowest rating Packers Chicago Bears games ever. Yeah. I'm predicting it now. It's not gonna be pretty.
I mean, I'll still be interested just because I hope Justin Fields is healthy. Because if he's healthy, I think I'd go Justin Fields. Because I don't trust this Packers defense right now. I don't. Next is the Commanders at the Giants. I think it's an easy game for the Giants. I do have them. In my opinion, I think they're gonna miss the playoffs barely. I think they're barely miss the playoffs just because the NFC West and the NFC North might produce another team. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the Giants long term, but I like them in the short term.
Well, the Giants, what are their odds this week? It's pretty much split in the betting. It's in New York. The Giants have been playing well at home this year, and so I think the Giants probably do pull this one out.
I mean, it's just that defensive line Like if that defensive line comes to play and stops Saquon Barkley like the Seahawks did, they can't do anything on offense. That's why I'm not liking the Giants if they do make a playoff push. Again, another team we'll talk about later on in another segments. I don't know if I'm buying a playoff push from them. Next is the Seahawks going to the Rams. Seahawks. It's the Seahawks. It, it's easily
You know,
Seahawks in my
the
opinion.
Rams are falling apart on the side. They have Super Bowl hangover 100%.
Is this is it?
There's too much money into the team, and so they're going to have to start rebuilding.
Yep,
It's sad, but
I completely agree.
they're a
And
one and done Super Bowl team.
it's
So
interesting that everyone talks about Super Bowl hangover for the losers, but look at the last 5 to 10 years. It is only the
I think it's both
Patriots.
teams.
It is only the Patriots and the Chiefs that have ever gone back to the Super Bowl after they
And it
win.
was the same Super Bowl.
Yeah, like it's very interesting to me that like everyone talks about Super Bowl hangover only for the losers, while the winners also don't go back either. Like look at the past 10 years, it is either Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes going back. Besides that,
And
no one
those are
goes back.
both different breeds on both of those. So I
Yep.
mean,
It's very interesting to me that I'll never think that if you win a Super Bowl that you're gonna go back next year. I'm done. This was my year that I had the Rams in the NFC Championship game. That was one of my
dude, I had them
predictions.
winning it all.
I had the
Worst
Broncos winning it
ever.
all, man. I had the Broncos,
I had the
man.
Broncos going deep playoff run, man. I thought Russell being in that position. I mean, we'll see. Continuing on to the next parts of the season, but
Yeah, then Saints at Bucks. I have the Saints. The Saints are just a sleeper team. I think they can beat anyone, but they can also lose to anyone.
100%. And you know, Brady struggled against the Saints. He's only beat them once in the regular season, if I'm not mistaken.
No, you're right. It was last year.
Uh, Bucks are favored in this game, though, according to Vegas, and so you know, and I agree with Vegas on this one. I think the Bucks will find a way to win. I think Brady is tired of losing. He's not used to losing. I think he's gonna want to win this game and prove a point. So we'll see. We'll see if the old man can do it. But I think the Bucks win.
All right, awesome. Well, that was Nick's picks of the week. That was our first segment on today's show. Why did my Discord? There it is. Next up, we have top 10, bottom 5. Aaron, if you want to lead that
Yes.
off.
Yeah. So, you know, wanted to get a graphic for you guys, but this is going to be our first week. We're going to bump through some different things, but I'm just going to read off the teams here. You know, at my number 10 spot, I got the Lions. I know
Let's
this is a
go!
surprise pick.
I'm all for it.
Really like the Lions. They're off a loss, and so a lot of people wouldn't pick them in their top 10s this week. A lot of people wouldn't put their top 10s anywhere near the Lions. A lot of people probably expected them to be in the bottom 5. They're not. They're a solid team, solid coach. I think they can make a playoff run. And so they've proved that they are a pretty good team. You know, number 9, I got the Bengals. All right. All right. They got a good quarterback, you know, good coach. Maybe. I'm still not sure on their coach, but I think that they can make a pretty good run this year as long as Joe Burrow stays healthy and the rest of that team stays healthy. At number 8, we have the Tennessee Titans coming in. Tennessee, they're 7-4. They have a 97% chance at making the playoffs this year. They're in, but they're scary in a bad way. I don't trust the Tennessee Titans. I don't trust that they will be able to make it really past far the divisional round as we're moving forward into the year. Okay, next we got the 49ers. Now, with the 49ers, I've already talked about them a little bit already in today's show, but I really like the 49ers. I think Jimmy G is a good quarterback. Right now, they have a 96% chance of making the playoffs. That's crazy. They're 7-4. They're a sleeper team. They're a sleeper team to even win their division at this point. And so I love the 49ers. I don't think anyone picked them at the beginning of the season, but they've really surprised me. Number 6, we got the Cowboys. All right. They have a
That's high.
99% chance at making the playoffs.
That's
All
high to
right.
me. Wow. Number 6?
That's high.
That's high
Yeah.
to me. I
You
don't
know,
know.
they prove, you know, and we could even, in my opinion, we could flip the 49ers and the Cowboys, but I think the Cowboys have proven more than the 49ers up to
Hmm.
this part of the season. They have a better record. I don't trust their coach, but you know what? Dax played a pretty good season. Zeke started showing a little bit of his former self in the last game. We'll see if he can continue that too. No, I don't disagree. It's not a confident six, but it is a six for the Dallas Cowboys, them boys. All right, coming in at our number 5 spot. This is going to be a shocker for a lot of people. They've been at number 1 for most of my power rankings for the year, but they just keep finding a way to lose in big spots or just come out just in the right spot. It's the Bills. The Bills have probably, if not the best quarterback in the league, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They still have a 57% chance to win their division. They still have a 21% chance of getting the first round bye, a 12% chance at winning the Super Bowl, but it's not a confidence spot for me. I have the Bills at 5. Number
That's
4 for me. You go ahead if you want to talk on that.
no, that's I'm not mad at it. I'm not gonna lie. They almost lost to the Lions, even though I'm very high on the Lions. The Lions aren't winning the Super Bowl this year. Like just straight up, they're not winning the Super
100%.
Bowl. They might
Might
make the
win a wild card.
playoffs. Yeah, they no, they might make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Do you know the Lions' percentage chance on making the playoffs? Do you have that on hand?
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
have it.
What are the Lions' percentage chance of
Lions,
even making the playoffs?
percent as it stands right now. I think they will. If I was a betting man, I would not take that bet though.
No, not at all. No.
Yeah.
So the fact, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree with that ranking. I agree.
No, it's a good percentage on the statistics that we have here. Before we have the Dolphins, I think the Dolphins have made a pretty good run out of it this year. They have a stud at their coaching. You know, I don't know about Tua. He's week to week. We'll see.
8-0.
I think he's yeah, and he's very similar to Drew Brees in my opinion. Very accurate, kind of smaller. Not going to win you, but a lot of people forget Drew Brees had a lot of injuries, and that's why the Chargers moved off to him to Phillip Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
We could see a similar story playing out, but I have him this week in my current rating at 4. You want to speak on that, Nick?
No, I agree with that. I think they might make the Super Bowl. They're definitely a sleeper team to make the Super Bowl for the AFC. But I think that there's gonna be a team above them that you're gonna be ranking that would wipe the floor with them. So I'm gonna wait for that team.
Number 3, I have the Chiefs. I actually have them
3?
going to the Super Bowl right now. I have them at 3, and you'll
Oh,
see at my next 2. Currently, right now, according to my statistics, have a 99% chance at making the playoffs, a 99% to get their division, a 65% chance to get their first round bye, and currently a 23% chance at getting and winning the Super Bowl.
jeez.
They're good. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. I'm really impressed with how that they've been able to move off Tyreek Hill.
Yep,
I
I completely
didn't
agree.
expect it. I thought their passing game would take a hit.
Mm-hmm.
It has a little bit, but Patrick Mahomes is a sleeper MVP pick right now.
I don't think he's a
And
sleeper.
so
I think
have them at
he
3.
might. I think he's the betting favorite. I don't even think he's a sleeper anymore. I think he's the betting favorite.
I think he might be. I'm not sure on that, but
But Josh Allen had it for the first 8 weeks of the season. It was all Josh Allen.
he's my MVP right now.
Oh, he still is.
When he's not healthy, Bills team falls apart.
Well, when he
When
is
we're
healthy, he
talking about
throws
most
red zone
valuable
interceptions.
player. Okay, so did Big Ben.
I
So
mean,
did Peyton Manning. So did a bunch of Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I mean, it's interceptions are part of the game. I don't hold that against too many players. Moving on in our rankings, number 2, I have the Eagles. A lot of people has them as their number 1. Not
who's
bought in.
won?
I don't. I'm not bought into the Eagles and their franchise. I'm just not. And so I think they have a good young quarterback. I think their coach is
Great,
pretty good there.
great young
Philly.
quarterback. I am a Jalen Hurts stan. I love Jalen Hurts. I've been saying this for
I
the
don't
last
like
4
mobile.
years.
As a Justin Fields supporter and lover, first time I saw him, I saw his first ever preseason game. Don't like that he's as mobile as he is. It scares the heck out of me. And same with the Eagles. They got a mobile quarterback. I don't like it. Their longevity, but we'll see. Currently, make the playoffs. They are 99% chance. Win division, 72. First round by 62. A lot of people have them in the Super Bowl. Currently, it is a 14% chance, and that's split across the whole league. It's not like out of 100.
Mhm.
It's split each team in the league has a number. But my number one, this is going to be a shocker. This headline. This is maybe our photo for the week, our stock photo. Who knows?
I have no idea.
The Vikings. The Vikings.
Oh.
Listen,
Okay.
I'm an
Okay.
NFC North watcher. I have watched every single Vikings game this year. They are electric. I traded Nick, Justin Jefferson, my fantasy, and I've been weeping every week since.
Bless up.
Miss him. I love him. He is amazing.
There was a good 2 months ago.
No,
He didn't score a single touchdown though. There was a good like 9
it
weeks
was
that
a
he
bad
didn't.
trade. I gave you a good trade. Maybe we'll make a segment sometimes, good trades, bad trades in fantasy, but maybe next year. No, the Vikings. I like them. They're a sleepy Super Bowl pick for me. I don't know how they're going to be in the playoffs. They have a first year head coach. That scares me. Playoffs experience matters. And so I don't know about the Super Bowl, but as far as this season goes, they currently have a 99% chance at making the playoffs and 99% chance at winning their division. That division sucks this year.
Dude, it's
Outside
week
of the
12
Lions
and
and
he
the
has
Vikings.
99% chance of winning the division. It's week 12.
It's week 12.
That's
To
insane.
put that into perspective, the Bills have a 57. Eagles have a 72. Vikings have a 99%
99.
chance. It is crazy. They have a 17% chance at
What's
the
the-
first round bye.
What's the Ravens?
Their win loss.
Well, no, what's the Ravens?
Oh, Ravens?
Their division position or percentage.
Divisional position?
I gotta plug in my laptop.
I don't have that right on me. Let's see.
Because the Ravens and Bengals are tied, and the Browns are 2 games behind. So I'm just wondering what they're.
I have their record, but I don't know where they stand in the
That's
season.
fine.
Their
That's fine.
record currently.
It's like 7-4, right?
Sure, let me put it here. Yeah, 7-4.
All right.
The reason I put the Bengals over even that the Ravens hold that tiebreaker right now, I think the Bengals are a better team.
Yeah.
Ravens have embarrassed themselves a few times this year. You know,
Yeah.
if Lamar Jackson doesn't go off, they lose.
Yeah.
And that's not a winning success. I have them outside. They're probably 11, maybe, but I don't have them in my top 10 this week. That's my top 10. This week, you want to talk about any of the spots or
Vikings over Eagles is
crazy,
definitely a
or-
hot take. That's definitely a hot take. I don't think you're wrong for it. I disagree. I'm a Jalen Hurts stan.
I think a lot of people will.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts is just electric. He'll probably be number 2, number 3 in MVP voting. Kirk Cousins won't get a single vote, in my opinion. I don't think he'll get a single vote.
For going on quarterbacks, it's the Eagles all the way. I think as a team, the Vikings have a better team.
And that's where I think
stand
even
on
that's debatable. I mean, Darius Slay, James Bradbury, both having career years. CJ Gardner-Johnson leading the league in interceptions. You got that pass rush, that defensive tackle room, the offensive line,
They're
the
good.
wide receiver core.
Good. This is a team that is coming off the complete embarrassment the last few seasons, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't trust a first season team that just shot off. Remember a few years ago, the Jags were super good. Everyone's like, "Oh, the Jags."
Well,
are
last
the
year the
future.
Eagles went
Jags
9-8
are
and they
everything."
made the playoffs. They were in the playoffs
Yeah,
last year.
They're 9-8.
What were the
Yeah,
Vikings
the year
last
before
year?
that, what was it? The Vikings last year? They were bad.
Yeah, exactly. I was saying, like,
Don't,
I think
don't
both.
accept my logic.
I
Don't
think
use
I
my
think
logic
both.
against me.
I think we're looking at the NFC Championship game right there. I think
so,
that'll be the NFC Championship game.
In the 49ers have won that spot, maybe. But
Yeah.
I really believe that the Eagles and the Vikings could be. Now, moving on to my bottom 5,
This will be fun.
the way we're going to rank
This
this,
is gonna be
my
fun.
worst team will be number 1. Least worst team, is going to be 5. So starting off at 5, we have the Cardinals.
I 100% agree. I 100% agree.
Quarterback would rather play Call of Duty. Their coach is a joke. I think will be brought up in our later conversation of hot seats. I don't think there's much more to say about the Cardinals right now. They've been a disappointment. And so
I'm
moving on
so
to my number
happy.
4 teams.
I'm so happy you said the Cardinals. I 100% agree. I've hated them for years because they got to get a different coach. It's got to get a different coach.
I like their coach. I think
I
he's
hate
a
him.
good college coach.
I hate him. He's
a good
terrible.
college coach. needs to get out of there. And you know what? He didn't have a winning record with Patrick Mahomes
Or at all.
as his quarterback in
At
college.
all. He didn't have a winning record
Okay,
at all as a head coach.
Patrick Mahomes.
Well, it's Patrick Mahomes in college, but he didn't have a winning
Yeah.
record at all over his entire tenure in college. So that's my problem with him. But moving on.
Yeah. Moving on, we got the Rams. Rams have been incomplete. They're in the number 4 team. Been a joke. They've been a complete embarrassment. Been hurt. I get it. Super Bowl hangover, like we talked about a little bit earlier. But Stafford's not been able to put this team on his back like he has in the last few years, with the Lions and with the Rams last year. But the disappointment. There's nothing else to really say on that. My part. Nick, you have anything to cover with that?
Nope. I'm in agreement. Yeah.
All right, number 3. You know, this is a tough spot as a Bear fan. It's a tough. But
I already
when you lose to
disagree.
the New York Jets,
I already disagree.
31,
I already disagree.
31-10.
There's way worse teams than the Bears right now, man. I already disagree.
I have 2 more spots.
I think there's more than 2 teams that are worse than the Bears. I'm being serious.
There probably is.
If the Panthers aren't in there, if the Broncos aren't in there, if the not the Jags, there's a lot of teams that put below them.
I went with my 5. I almost put the Bears at 5, but I didn't want to be biased.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be the person that said that they were 5. I didn't want to be the person that left them out of the list. I'm biased. I put them at 3 right now. They have one of the worst records in football. Don't mind their head coach. I think we should have gone with an offensive coach. But you know what? We'll see as the season moves on. Number 2 team right now in my rankings is, let me pull it up. I apologize to those that are listening. I have the Broncos.
Yeah.
Broncos, horrible. Yeah. They're falling apart at the seams. I've had them, like Nick talked about a little bit earlier. I had them maybe going to the Super Bowl this year.
I had them winning. I have no shame in saying I had them winning. I did a whole video. I had them winning.
When you go from Peyton Manning, when you see that transition from him going to the Colts to the Broncos, matched. And the thing is, Russell Wilson's younger. Russell Wilson's more talented.
At that point in their
Peyton
career.
Manning was at that point in their career.
Yeah.
And so right now, it doesn't look like he is. But I still have faith in Russell Wilson. I don't think he's the issue. I think that coaching staff is a big part of it. But they've been a complete disappointment this year. I feel so bad for Broncos country. You guys are going to ride to the
Broncos country. Don't die.
You guys are going to ride all the way up to giving the Seattle Seahawks a top 3 pick.
Insane.
All right.
Insane.
Oh.
Insane.
Yeah. Number 1, this is not a surprise. It's my old man. It's my former coach of my team, Lovie Smith. This is Texans. Good Lord.
Which sucks. I love Lovie Smith. I do. I love it.
I love Lovie Smith.
And I love Davis Mills.
Such a big hug.
I love Davis Mills, but like
I'm okay with Davis Mills, but I don't think he's a future NFL quarterback.
I think he's a backup. I think he's a career backup.
I think he's a career backup, similar to, and I think he'll have a season where he looks like Ryan Fitzpatrick in a few years, where he had with the Bills and the Jets and the Cardinals.
Yep.
Where he just flipped off and had crazy numbers, but I don't think he's gonna have anything on that. Name me one other besides Brandon Cooks. Name me one player on that team. I'm sure you could.
I'm about to say I'll do it. Like I'll do it in their entire wide receiver.
I'm sure
core.
you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree.
They're bad and they're in a rebuild. I hope Lovey doesn't get fired. I hope Lovey has another season to try it at it.
Yeah, give him a young quarterback who can actually play, and I think it'll be fine.
Maybe get him a good offensive coordinator in the offseason if you're gonna fire a position. It's typically what you'll do if you aren't gonna fire the head coach. You had a losing season, fire one of the coordinators,
and then the next season, you fire the head coach if they suck again,
and the rest of the coaching staff. So
Lovie Smith is the exact example. They fired the head coach. They kept him because he was the defensive coordinator. I don't know I don't really watch Texans games, so I don't know about their defense, how bad their defense, how good it is. I mean, Derek Sling has been hurt most of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
just know that
watched
he's been
Texan
injured
game.
most of the season. Jerry Hughes, the 32-year-old pass rusher, I vote him in the Pro Bowl. I did a Pro Bowl voting. I voted
Mhm.
him in the Pro Bowl because he's having an amazing season for the Texans, and that's because of Lovie Smith.
Yes. Mhm. Lovie Smith is a good coach. I don't care who says it. If it's just a defensive coordinator position, he's amazing at it. Head coaching, he took the Bears to a Super Bowl. I don't care who, he's almost the first black coach to take a team and win a Super Bowl. That went to was the Colts coach for a number of years.
Tony Dungy.
Dungy, thank you, Dungy. Dungy ended up winning that game and being that, but that's the how level of historic he could have been borderline Hall of Famer if he wins that game. I think we talk about him completely different, legacy wise, if he wins that game, and he lost obviously,
Well, I
but
think we talk about the Bears
beyond
differently as well as a franchise because that's what
100%, I think
that's
that
what year was
whole
that? What
team.
year
I
was
think
that? Was that 07? 06?
2006,
06?
2006 was the Super Bowl, and so it was a good quarterback. It wasn't a good quarterback. I mean, Rex Grossman was great arm, but the brain of a peanut.
Yeah.
Threw a bunch of interceptions.
Devin Hester, the GOAT.
What, dude, best returner, Hall of Famer. In
Hold
my
up.
book,
Don't
100%.
no Cordell Patterson. Cordell Patterson. Don't be talking about that. Don't be talking bad about him.
Don't talk about it. I think Cordero Patson's number 2, 3, yeah, 3. I do the GOAT 23 at number 1, and then I would do number 2, um, Sanders,
Yeah.
and number 3 would be. You can't argue with Sanders, man. The dude walked in, ran a 40, broke records on that 40, and then got out and walked and got into a limo. Straight baller.
Well, what's his name? Kenan
But
Nwangwu for the Vikings. Their returner has 3 this year. Cordell Patterson has 9 in his entire career. Kenan Nwangwu has like
I
4
think
or 5 already in his
I
career.
think if I'm remembering, Devin Hester has 17 or 16 in his career. I
Was
think
that
he
was
has
that was that punt or
17
kick or off
overall.
return? Was that punt or kick?
It's off of both.
Okay, so
Returns
Cordell Patterson
original.
broke the kickoff return record of 9. So that's what he broke. And Kenan Nwangwu has
Which
4 or
was
5 already.
Deshaun, not Deshaun, Dooley, which was Hester. Dooley.
Nwangwu kickoff return. I just want to see how many he has.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he has 5. He has 5. He has 5. He's just 2 years in the NFL. He has 5.
Hmm.
Insanity.
With returners, they peak early, they go down early.
I don't know. Cordell Patterson
Fortunately,
is
what
34 years
happens?
old.
Yeah, it's a little bit different league when he was first coming in though,
That's
and
true.
so he's got those numbers too. And so moving with that, I think I could see the league completely taking away kickoff in the next few years.
Sadly.
Just it's exciting. It's sad that they might do that, but I can see it happening. And so, but with that saying, if they know you're a good returner, it happened to Devin Hester all the time. They kick it to the sideline. They kick it out of the end zone. They do not let them get that ball. And so as soon as people find him out, they are not going to kick him the ball anymore.
Yeah, they'll be kicking as far as they can do a touchback.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, moving on to the next topic, we got coach hot seats. So I'm going to name a team, and you're going to say if that head coach is on a hot seat, if they're warm, hot, or cold. So either they're freezing
All right.
cold, that can fire this off season. Warm is depends on how the rest of the season goes, and hot is you better just start packing right now. You're gone. So number 1, since you said his name, Lovie Smith with the Texans. Is he on the hot seat, warm seat, or freezing cold?
I think he's on the hot seat. Um, I think his cheeks are a little toasty at the moment. Um, I hope when you start a sentence with hope, it's not looking good for that coach. I think the Texans, they might find a new coach there. I hope they give him at least one more year, but we'll see. I think he's on the hot seat.
So I'm going to add another on top of all these questions. If you were the Texans, would you fire him?
No. Like I said earlier in the last segment, I believe in Lovie Smith. I think he is past his prime. I don't think he's the long-term answer there, but I don't think you can go back-to-back head coaches firing. I don't
Well,
think
Josh
that's the
McCown's on
look.
that.
I don't.
I don't know. Josh McCown is pretty available right now. If that happens, I'll be so
Give
upset.
him, He
give him a
should not
coordinator
be a head
job
coach.
first. Give him a coordinator job
Give him a
first.
coordinator. Let him be a quarterback. Let him go through the ranks as they should. Quarterback coach, offense coordinator, head coach. That's the role he needs to take.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
no, I think he's on the hot seat. I wouldn't fire him,
I
but I
think he's
think
on a
the
hot seat
head
as
coach
well,
might.
sadly, and I also would not fire him. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I mean the Chargers. Brandon Staley. You fire is he on the hot seat, warm seat, or freezing cold?
I think he's warm seat. The reason why I say warm seat is the Chargers are still in the playoff hunt. If they don't make the playoffs this year and you don't make the playoffs 2 years in a row with Justin Herbert and that squad, you should be fired. I don't care. I don't I don't mind him. He's not proved enough to me. He's one of the worst defenses with one of the best defensive casters. He's a defensive person. You cannot have one of the worst defenses with some of the best defensive players and still keep your job. And so if they make the playoffs, I think he buys himself another year, but I think he's on the warm seat.
What if he goes one and done in the playoffs? Like, and it's a bad one and done. Like he goes up against, let's say he's in the AFC. Let's say it's Chargers and Tennessee
Mm-hmm.
Titans. Let's say that's the matchup, and your defense
Mm-hmm.
lets up 150 yards of Derrick Henry, and maybe 180
Which is
to,
very
to Ryan
possible.
Tannehill, which is very possible. So 150 to Derrick Henry, 180 to Ryan Tannehill, and 2 touchdowns, and you lose by let's say you lose by 10 points. Are you
Points.
are you saying he's one and done? You got beat up by Derrick Henry after all these
It's
signings and draft picks. What's your answer?
Most people don't look at stats, they look at the score.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, what was the score at the end of the game? Like you said, if that's 10 points that they're in it, I don't think he's fired. If it's 20 plus, I
Oh,
think
it's gone.
there's a good chance he's fired.
Yeah, he's gone.
But
And would you clear house as the owner? Would you fire the GM too? What's his name? It's
I can't
Testa.
think of his name.
It's Testa. It's not Testaverde.
Is he the one that drafted Herbert?
Yes, he is the one that drafted Herbert. He's been there for like five or
Give him
six
1 more year.
years.
Give him 1 year, but I'd give him very limited options in the head coaching. I would hire a outside expert. I would give him options. I would keep him in the room, but I would definitely not give him 100% control on the next hire.
Yeah, because he's. I mean, he did. The thing is, Brandon Staley was his first real hire because he inherited Anthony Lynn, fired Anthony Lynn in 2019. Then he draft Justin Herbert. Like he's had a good track record of drafting.
Mm-hmm. The drafts have been good.
So yeah, I think
It's
I think
similar
he's on
to
the warm
Ryan
seat.
Pace, the
Yep,
Bears. I didn't mind him as a GM. I really
he's
didn't.
terrible
His
hiring
downfall
coaches.
was Trubisky and the coaches.
I think it's the coaches. I think give Trubisky whatever coaching you did in 2018 and 2019.
McVay.
I don't know what happened, but for some
Sean
reason
McVay.
it fell off. Yeah, give him Sean McVay. He's
Yeah,
easily.
the reason they went that direction, they went with John Fox.
Yep.
I don't mind him. I think he was a good coach in the NFL. I think he was past his prime and he proved it in that spot.
Yep. Here's gonna be a fun one. The Las Vegas Raiders. Are you hot seat, warm seat, or cold seat on Josh McDaniels with the Las Vegas Raiders?
Wouldn't call it cold seat, but I think it's not a cool seat. I think it's the beginning of when I don't know if some of you have a power smart cars. When you turn on the hot seats, I don't. My mom does. I'm not rich enough for that yet, but when you have heated seats and it
Must say,
just
since when do you have an EV,
starts
bro?
going, it just starts going a little bit. I think that's a seat position. I don't think the Raiders ownership wants to go back-to-back firings. I think they trust him enough to realize, okay, we still have a good squad. Let's give him a few more chances. I think he'll be back next year.
Mm. Let me find a good one that we haven't talked about already. The Colts. So I'm not gonna say
Colts.
hot, warm, or cold. Do you re-sign Jeff Saturday at the end of the season? Do you re-sign him to even if it's a 1 year, like, hey, we'll give you one more year. Do what you can in 1 year. What are you saying?
They win this week.
They
Did they win
lost
this
by no. It was the Colts, Steelers. They lost because they didn't call a timeout. That's why they lost. They did not call a timeout. So that is a
I was about
coach's
to say,
fault.
I didn't watch that game, so I didn't know.
It is game
It's
management.
coaching's fault.
It was the
Yeah,
coach's
it's
fault.
game management, 100%.
And he even owned up to it. He
He's
said
a
it's
young
my
coach.
fault.
Yeah. But I was really hoping he won, so I could say he's an undefeated coach.
2 weeks in.
I mean, it wouldn't be wrong. But do you have a good coaching candidate in the offseason? If you have the stud, if you have your future, no, I don't see him being re-signed. If there's not a stud, if there's not a person, I'm a good offensive coordinator, good coordinators around him, surround him with good staff. Let him know. Don't be the bad guy. Let him know this is a one-season deal. Run the ship for us this year. I don't think you could do a better game manager right now. Who are you going to put? Rex Ryan in that position? Come on. You going to put John Fox in that position for a year? What coach are you going to put in there for a year and then fire? I don't think you do a complete reset that team.
I think it all depends on what the draft idea is. If they are going into this draft saying we are trading up for Will Levis, we are taking Tanner McKee, we are taking Tyler Van Dyke, or somehow by God's grace we are trading up to a number 2 overall pick and taking either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. I think no matter what, it all depends on if you are going into this draft knowing you're taking a quarterback high, then you fire. I think you don't go Jeff Saturday. But if you're
he was an offensive player, listen, if you do want a young quarterback or young offensive player, he played center for the best quarterback, arguably top 3 of all time.
2 of the best quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Luck was hurt a lot.
No, but it was. Oh, you're talking about just Aaron Rodgers.
Did he play with Andrew Luck?
I think he played with Peyton Manning, and then he went to the Rod. Then I think he did both. I think he did all 3. I think he did all 3.
Or Brett Favre?
I think he did Manning, Luck, Rodgers. I think he did all 3.
I'm not
I know.
sure.
I know it was Manning. I know it was Manning.
It
wasn't
Manning.
Luck.
I didn't know it was Rodgers.
I think Luck might have been in there for 1 or 2 years.
Maybe. I really truly couldn't say.
Yeah,
but you get Peyton Manning in there as not a coordinator, but
he's not
some advisor.
No, he's a Denver Bronco owner.
He'll do it.
He owns
Saturday.
No, he owns the Denver Broncos. You can't do that. No, you can't do that. He's a co-owner of the Denver Broncos now.
He doesn't. He doesn't have any license.
Yes, it does. That's what it is. That's what it is. If anything, he's the Broncos' next head coach. If anything, he's the Broncos' next head coach. That's what it would be. He is not going back to the Colts. If Jeff Saturday keeps if they keep their current staff, but with Jeff Saturday as head coach, I think they cannot draft a quarterback this year. They cannot, because that is going to mess the quarterback up so much. This upcoming season, if they do keep Jeff Saturday, is one of our coordinators a head coach material? Is our offensive coordinator or our defensive coordinator? Can we retain them past 2024? But yeah. I don't think they re-sign him. I think he's 1 and done, or 8 games and done this year.
I think you should really take a hard look on any team that's in the coaching conversation at Harbaugh. Done a great job with Michigan. He's got him going. I'd give him a hard look if I was any team.
I would immediately hire Luke Fickell. He was Cincinnati's head coach. He just got signed to Wisconsin. I would give Luke Fickell a head coaching job in the NFL today. But obviously, not now. He just got signed to Wisconsin. He's not
going anywhere.
Yeah, he's gonna be in Wisconsin for the next 5 years.
Harbaugh came onto a plane. He thought he had the Vikings job.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that.
All the swag. He was like ready to go.
Oh my Lord. I cannot remember.
He had a deal. The
he
Bears
did.
And him. This is not known. He had a deal on the offer with the Bears. He said, he want a similar deal that, what's his name, had with the Raiders, a 10-year deal.
Harbaugh. No, it's Gruden. Gruden.
Thank you, Gruden. Year deal. I think he wanted like close to $500 million. I think he wanted like crazy numbers.
What?
I think he wanted big boy like quarterback numbers. Exact numbers haven't been released yet.
Well, he probably wanted his exact contract in Michigan. He wanted his Michigan contract.
Yeah, he wanted record-breaking numbers.
I wonder what's his Michigan contract. I'm gonna Google it real quick because I'm sure he just wanted his exact contract but to go to the NFL. That's
No, I don't
John,
think his
right?
Michigan contract's good.
No, it's Jim. Jim
It's
Harbaugh.
Jim. It's Jim. It's Jim.
Jim
John is our name.
Harbaugh salary. Yeah, he makes 7.6 million. So he probably wanted 10 million a year. And they're like, dude, the last time you were in the NFL,
No,
you
that would
fizzled out with
be
this field with
weird.
49ers.
He didn't. It wasn't his fault. That was his GM. He went 8-8 his last year,
I don't know, man. Because they hired Chip Kelly right after him. They ruined
and they
Kaepernick's career.
had,
I,
they
I
were
think they
bad
both
for that.
sucked. I mean, I think they both sucked. I'm not a big fan of Jim Harbaugh. So that's just me.
He'd be
But
my pick for an NFL coach next. I
what?
have more reasons. We could talk about that in another episode.
So final team. The Denver Broncos. Obviously, they're on a very, very, very hot seat. I think he's gone after this season. I'm not going to ask that question. If you're the GM of the Broncos, I forgot his name. I believe it's Pat something. Pat Bowen or something. If you're their GM, who are you personally hiring to fix this for next year? Because Russ is signed for 5-6 years. It's Russell Wilson or nothing. Who are you signing? Who are you trading for? Like you can trade for coaches. Are you making an offer to another team, like for an offensive coordinator? Are you saying, hey, Rams, you guys suck. Here's what 2 second-round picks and a very, very future first for Sean McVay. Hey, whatever team, we're gonna trade. What are you doing as a person, as a GM, to get Russell Wilson fixed?
I'm looking at who Russell wants.
Well, he wanted Haskett, Nathaniel Hackett. He wanted him.
Go find him. Find him another guy that's like that he's comfortable with, whoever it is. You need a coach that Russell and him work well together. Russell's your future. You can't trade Russell now. You can't figure anything else out. You put all your chips on the table with Russ, and you go for that. Whatever Russ wants, give it to him. And I don't know if you do a blockbuster trade. You don't have a lot of trade capital to go off for, go get Sean McVay. I mean, that would be a blockbuster trade. Who are you going to trade for it? I mean, you don't want to give away picks. You already give a lot of picks. You don't want to give away players because you want to be a Super Bowl win now team.
I was just giving an example that you can trade for someone.
No, that's 100%. That would be a smart. If
it's been years. It's been years since that's happened. It's been since Gruden got traded to Tampa Bay. It's been literally almost 20 years since this has happened.
Be very exciting. I think more teams should do that, but I don't think this is the situation for the Broncos. I don't think trading. I'd look hard in the college. I don't think Jim Harbaugh would be a good fit there.
What about his former offensive coordinator Shane Waldron with the Seahawks? Because Waldron was handpicked.
Now?
He's in Seattle still. He was handpicked by Russell Wilson to get promoted to offensive coordinator, to where then Russ had a really good season. So would you look at Shane Waldron?
I think you give an interview. I think it's definitely in the books, and if he kills that interview, hire him on the spot.
Because I mean, he knows how to fix him.
Yep.
He's the one that made the offense for him. That's what I would do. I would personally look at Shane Waldron. Again, I think that would be a very interesting spot. I as much as I don't like him, because you said his name, I think Jim Harbaugh, his offense would be a good fit for Russ. As much as I don't like him as a coach, that's an offense I think Russ would thrive in.
I think he would be a good pick. I don't think. Here's the issue that I would have with him. It'd be a tough sell for the Broncos to convince him to leave. Right now, number 2 ranked Michigan.
For one of the worst teams in the NFL. Yeah, for one of the worst teams.
He's going to the 49ers. He's going to a big name, not the 49ers because he already coached there, but he's going to a big name NFL team if he decides to leave. That's why he was going to go to the Vikings. He liked the roster. He liked the team. He knew he could win with it.
Yeah.
Now, Russell Wilson's your selling point with that one. That's plain simple. We'll see. I think it's a very interesting coaching position. As the teams come up, we'll do a deeper dive into that conversation. But
yeah. All right, moving on to our next segment. This is one that I'm very excited to talk about. It is basically stocks in a team's playoff push. So there's a lot of teams that are currently in the hunt. Let me actually get the playoff bracket right now. I was looking at it last night. There, this playoff picture. So let me share this so we can get it on the screen as well. Go live, and then click it. Awesome. So here is the playoff picture right now. So we're gonna scroll down to on the bubble. So we're gonna go down this list and just talk about what is your chance. What are you buying this team's stock to make a playoff push? So first, Seattle Seahawks. Are you buying, holding, or selling stock on the Seattle Seahawks?
According to my statistics, they currently have a 66% chance. They're 6-5. That division's not been too competitive this year, outside of the 49ers and the Seahawks, obviously. I would hold. It's because the last few weeks they've looked a little scary in the bad way. I don't buy them, but I would never disregard them completely. So I'd hold.
The New England Patriots.
New England Patriots. Look at my.
I'm me personally. I'm selling. I'm selling on the Patriots. Their offense is incompetent, but their defense is really good. I'm personally selling on the Patriots.
I think I am too, even without looking up the statistics on this one. They're 6-5. They got a 37% chance at making it right now, which is not bad. They're looking on the outside. I just don't. They got Buffalo, Arizona,
And the Vikings.
Las Vegas coming up.
They got the Vikings
Could
this
very
week.
easily go 1-2.
Yeah. Next is the Chargers. Are you buying, holding, or selling?
41% on the statistics right now. We got Las Vegas up in the mirror. They got Miami coming up in the mirror. Got Tennessee coming up in the mirror.
That's a lot of run. That's a lot of running teams.
And you've not been good at stopping the run. I could very easily see them at least losing 2 of those games. I'm selling. It pains me to say that, but when you go to a 7-loss team, 8-loss team, you might make the playoffs. But the AFC is a much stronger team than the NFC this year. I'm selling.
Yeah, once you get to that many losses as a team who's 4-7 right now, looking in with the Browns, if you don't, it's not you're controlling your own destiny anymore. It's hoping other team lose to push you in. And I agree. The Chargers right now are in. Yeah, they're in charge of their destiny right now. But the problem is, once you get those 6, 7, 8 losses, you're not in control of your destiny anymore. So I'm selling for different reasons. The Chargers have been out Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and it looks like they're still going to be out Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. So I'm selling just because their offense, I don't believe in it. You can't always use Austin Eckler for everything, as much as I love Austin Eckler. And again, their defense is not to where I thought it would be this year. I'm personally selling as well. The Atlanta Falcons. We'll do 2 more for each conference.
Yeah. Atlanta Falcons, they're a fun team this year. I personally I think one team from that conference is going to make it out of it. I think it's going to be the Bucks. And so they currently have a 17% chance making. They got some tough teams coming up. But, I mean, they got Pitt coming up, and they got New England coming up. They probably lose one of those games. Can't lose another game if you're the Falcons. And I think they will at least lose one more game. They got the Commanders. That's tough this week. I'm selling.
Yeah, I'm personally selling as well. It's honestly mostly because I just don't believe in Marcus Mariota. It's not that I don't like him.
He's a great backup.
Yeah, exactly. He's a great backup. He's great if your starter gets injured, he has to play for 3 or 4 games. Cooper Rush
can win you a game.
Yep, Cooper Rush, same thing. I think Cooper Rush is a guy who can win you 3 or 4 games during injury. I wouldn't start him for an entire season though. So I'm also selling on the Falcons. But I think that's their team. What are you doing? I mean, like they're gonna have a top pick hopefully, but they're not gonna be one of the top 2 picks to get a top quarterback. That was their plan, was to get a top quarterback in Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. Is Arthur Smith gonna get fired? That's another that could be another discussion for another day. But I think that's definitely a team that we could talk about. What about the Lions? Are you buying, holding, or selling?
I have them in my top 10.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I have him in my
This is the
top
team.
one.
They're such a good football team, but the mathematical chances, they're currently sitting at 8% chance at winning, getting to the playoffs. Not even winning the playoff game, but getting to the playoffs. They got the Bills next week. They're going to lose that one, most
They
likely.
already played the Bills.
They already played
This
the Bills. They
this
lost the Bills.
this is not updated. This website.
Updated. Oh, okay,
Well,
sorry.
the what's it
I
called?
didn't look at.
The records are updated. That's weird. I don't know. It says that like it's still week 12 matchup, but all the
Because
records
they
are
already played
updated.
the Bills. Yeah, they
Yeah,
played the Bills
and
on Thanksgiving.
The Browns
Yeah.
already played the Buccaneers, and that's their record is 4-7. So the records are up to date, but their matchups are not.
Records are up to date, but the matches are not.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So I don't know who's. I can't see the schedule right
Selling.
now. You're selling.
Um, the Lions, and I almost hold, but it's just they're at the point. I think they got the Jags next. I think they got Jags, Minnesota, and New York. If my
Which New York team?
is right here. Jets. Lose to the Jets.
Ooh.
Lose to the Vikings. Probably win
Yeah.
against the Jags. I got them. So they're 5 and 11.
5-9.
5 and 9.
Yeah,
Sorry, Lions. I really love you. I had you going to the playoffs at the beginning of the year.
I did too.
I had you up to this week. I had you going to the playoffs, but I think this is where I'm finally going to sell on them.
I agree. I did not know that was their upcoming matchup. If they would have beat the Bills, they'd be 5-6 right now.
100%.
Completely different. Completely different. But
Completely different story.
sadly, Tyler Bass hits a game-winning field goal. I'm gonna go with I gotta sell as well.
Got screwed on Thanksgiving for sure.
Yeah. Another team that's interesting, the Las Vegas Raiders. Are you buying, holding, or selling? You gotta remember their division. Remember their division.
Their division. I think sell on the Raiders. Don't think they're the team that's going to make that wild card. I don't think they're going to win their division. They currently have a 0.1% chance at winning their division. They currently have a 6% chance at making the playoffs. Big 12, and they got a 6% chance at making the playoffs. They got Chargers coming up, LA Rams, and New England. They're at least going to lose one of those games. And at that point, you're 7-9. I don't think 7-9 is going to cut it in the AFC.
No. And the final, I'm also selling as well. I never bought the Raiders stock, so I guess I'm not doing anything for their stock. The final team,
I didn't either.
Yeah, the final team that I would say the Bears, but I think the Bears are just officially too far out. But the team I'm gonna be saying, they're not mathematically eliminated, but I think that like everyone's injured. Just everyone's injured.
They have a 0.1% chance.
Yeah, like if everyone was healthy, I think I'd probably give you guys like, oh, let's at least talk about it. But because everyone's hurt, this is like
You would have to win out
and everyone else lose.
and everyone else lose, and that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, so I'll do the other Homer team. Buy, hold, sell the Cleveland Browns.
They're getting Deshaun back this week. I think that's a major upgrade at quarterback. We'll look at our statistics here. They're 4-7. I think you got to run the table if you're going to get in.
Absolutely.
They currently have a 6% chance according to my statistics. Got Houston, they'll win. Cincinnati, it's a toss-up game.
No, it's
And they got
not.
Baltimore.
No, it's not, dude. We are undefeated against Joe Burrow. We have beat him 7 times in a row.
At
7
Cincinnati,
times.
though.
I don't care.
At Cincinnati.
The only game that I truly believe we can lose is the Ravens game because they always beat us. That is the one game in our schedule I think we can lose.
I truly think I disagree. I think I'm flipping those two games. I think you win in Baltimore, but I think you lose in Cincinnati.
Okay. I just know the Browns against the Bengals like turn on like they're playing they turn on rookie mode.
I love their history of those two teams. I really think they should be the more of the rivals in that division than anything because
they are.
The Browns.
They are. Yeah, they are. The entire division is a whole rivalry with each other.
They all hate each other.
Yeah, like other divisions is interesting. Like the NFC South, there's no real rivalry, but the AFC North, there's so much bad blood between every
It's,
team.
and I used to make the argument that the NFC North was the division that was we all hate each other, we are all bad blood. I don't think it is. I think it used to be,
It's not
but
respect, in my
it now,
opinion. It feels like everyone's respecting each other.
yeah, it's starting to, which is good. That's good for the game. It's good for relations, and I don't want someone taking off Justin Fields' head.
Yeah.
I just don't. It's good, but I love seeing a good matchup between two teams that hate each other.
Yeah. So are you buying, selling, or holding on the Browns?
Selling. I don't think they'll win out. We just talked about that, and we just said that they had to win out, and we both agree that they'll lose at least one more game. So
Yeah, I think they'll
I
win
like their
everything.
future.
I'm just scared about the Ravens game. That's the only game that I truly do believe that we have a chance at losing. All the other ones, just because I know how our team plays.
Even if you win out, it's not guaranteed that
No,
you'll even
it's
make
not
it.
guaranteed. Like I said, it's we would control our own destiny, that we would give ourselves a chance to make it. But if we lose one of these games, it's all up to math. Then it's not, oh well, like I guess we lost. But if we go 10-7, we are the ones putting ourselves in the table, and we're the ones putting ourselves in the conversation. But if we go 9-8, 8-9, it's a wrap. Which is crazy to say. Ask me 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. We're out of the playoffs. I'm done. I'm out of the season. But now I'm like, oh, we actually have a chance because we beat the Buccaneers. Like because
And
we beat the Bucs.
beginning of the season, I said they will be at a place where they could
Yep.
make a run with it with Deshaun. I didn't think they were going to have a winning record per se.
No
but
one
I think
did.
Jacoby was going to be good enough to have them in a chance for Deshaun to run the table.
No, if you ask any
that's where
Browns
they are.
fan, none of us wanted. Like we all knew we wouldn't be above 500. We wanted that 5-6, maybe 6-5. So the fact that we're only one game under what we wanted, this is where we wanted to be. It just sucks how close we were to being 8-1. That's what sucks. Is that we've had so many games where it was within 2 points of us winning, and we've lost the field goals
That's
all
where
season.
it's exciting, where you're getting upgraded at quarterback next year.
Yep.
I don't like the person, but he's definitely an upgrade at quarterback, and so I think you'll win a lot of those close games.
It wasn't even our offense. It was our defense, dude. We just got fired Joe Woods. That's why this is exactly where I wanted to be as a Browns fan this season. It's just that it sucks. No, like if we
I
would have
think
gotten,
you also got screwed over.
yeah, if we
You
would
got
have
screwed over with the other teams.
if we would
just
have
with their
if we would have lost by 10 points, 15 points, all 7 games, all right, cool, whatever. But knowing that we could be one of the top AFC teams, for our defense just, does what defense does, if we don't have the Jets meltdown, we don't have the Falcons meltdown, we don't lose to the Bills how we did, we don't lose to the Dolphins how we did.
Okay.
Like we could be 8-3 right now, but obviously we're not. It happens, that's how football works. But yeah, I'm also selling. As much as I want us to win, I think we will lose 1 or 2 of those games, and that immediately kicks you out of the playoffs. It's because of how top heavy the AFC is. It just kicks you out immediately. But
It does.
But speaking of the Browns, we're moving off of our scheduled topics to our conversational topics. Let me stop streaming. So we wanted to talk about Deshaun Watson and our expectations for him in the next 6 games, and honestly, just like show our respect to Jacoby Brissett for the amazing job he did this season. I actually have the stats pulled
What a
up.
backup this.
Yeah, he's like he earned himself a starting contract as a backup quarterback. Like he's gonna be a starter next year. I have his stats up right now. Jacoby Brissett in 11 games as a Browns starter was 64% completion percentage, 2,600 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. So over a full 17 games, Jacoby's stats.
Interception ratio.
Yeah, 2-1. That's exactly what you want as a starter. That's the lowest you want to be as a starter. And over a full 17 games, Jacoby would have a 64% completion percentage, 4,000 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions, and over 300 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. This would have been the best quarterback season since 1999 when we came back, and it would have been the number 2 quarterback season of all time in Cleveland Browns history, only behind Bernie Kosar's MVP 1980 season. And Jacoby Brissett led the Browns offense to the number 5 ranked unit in 12 weeks. So a backup quarterback had all
He did
those
what a background
stats.
has to do.
And this is what's crazy is that people want to fire Kevin Stefanski for being 4-7. Guys, we made Jacoby Brissett a top 5 quarterback for 12 weeks.
I don't know my fantasy team. He was a solid at least 10 to 12 points
Yeah,
every week.
it's exactly
That's
what we wanted. We have Nick Chubb. He's number 2 and number 3 in rushing. He's number 1 in yards per attempt. Number 2 in touchdowns. Darn you, Jamal Williams. He's number 2 in touchdowns. Like, he's number 1 in broken tackles. Like, Nick Chubb is exactly what we want from him this season. And Jacoby Brissett has absolutely
100%. I think he's going to go down as a journeyman quarterback as one of the best. I mean, he's still pretty young. And so this is where, especially in today's NFL, where Brady's playing and still talking about playing next season, 46, especially in today's NFL, I can see him being a definitely still have some highlights left in his career.
Yeah, and I fully expect him to get a starter job next year. I think if Marcus Mariota can be a starter, Jacoby Brissett has proved that he has a skill set to be a starter somewhere.
Good bridge.
Yep, a very good bridge. I think before the season, I had him, Teddy Bridgewater, Jameis Winston, all as the same tier. Mm-hmm. But I think Jacoby Brissett has proved that he is better than both of them. He is serviceable, and I think if you give him a good defense,
see him outside of the Cleveland. I want to.
That's my next point. That's my next point.
I want to see him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my next point. I completely agree.
Because once he's outside of that Stefanski system, it's quarterback coach is so important. Schemes, way you do it, it's so important. I think he should stay with Cleveland. I don't think he should go find a starting job. Stay another year in Cleveland. Build your stock, or hit the iron when it's hot. You got a good starting. I mean, but get paid millions to watch Deshaun go out there and play ball for a year. He's a injury-prone quarterback. You most likely will probably play 1 or 2 games next year. Ball out in those games. Go get yourself a nice starting contract. Maybe after that.
See, I think there's be a team like the New York Giants, who will throw him a 1-year or 2-year deal. Because I don't think Daniel Jones is coming back. I think he's gonna want $30 million a year, just because that's what it is now. Because quarterbacks who are starters are being paid $50 right now. So
if he can negotiate some with guaranteed or whatever, if they can come up with a smart deal where he's getting paid $12-15 a year, I think they keep him. I don't think that
we don't got the cap space for that. That's the problem. Like,
no, I'm talking about Daniel Jones, not.
Oh no, you're not getting him for that. You're not getting him for that. You got to remember that franchise quarterbacks right now are going for 45 to 50. But every player thinks they're franchise. Every franchise, that's why I think. So I believe the franchise tag.
Brady built a whole career on I'm going to take less so I can have better players around me.
While being married to a billionaire. Just saying. Giselle was like $900 million a year.
Will me and you? I hope so. I have big dreams. I have big aspirations. Will we make $5 million in our lifetime statistically? Probably not.
No.
So we're talking 10, 15 million? Play football? Lower your expectations. Lower your things. Realize winning's more important to your legacy. And take a step back and get good players, and you could be a really good Giants team. He won't.
No, he's not. But he's a young quarterback. I think that Marcus. How much is Marcus Mariota making? What, 15 mil, something like that, 14 mil, somewhere around that number. Around that number. Daniel Jones is gonna go with his stats next to his stats. His stats next to Jameis Winston / Andy Dalton. His stats next to Jacoby Brissett, and say these guys are getting paid this much. I know I'm not Josh Allen. I'm not Patrick Mahomes. How much is Mitchell Trubisky getting paid? I don't know what. I think he was making around 15 to 20. He's gonna ask for 25 to 30. The franchise tag, I believe, is 37. I believe it's 37 is a franchise tag. So I think
gonna tag him.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they're gonna tag him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Daniel Jones is gonna have all the leverage because
he's worth 22, 23. But I wouldn't sign him.
No, I wouldn't. I would move on. I was never a fan of the Daniel Jones pick. I still am not a fan of the Daniel Jones pick. But I will say, Brian Dable's done a great job this year with Daniel Jones.
Really has.
That's why I'm
Yeah,
saying I
circling
think.
back to our original conversation with that, we got a little off topic with the Jacoby Brissett.
Oh yeah, I've got
He's 100%. We're two football nerds here, man. It's gonna happen. But his era in Cleveland was a success.
Yes, absolutely.
Wins or loss doesn't matter as much. You had hurt players. You need play. I mean, injury bug hit Cleveland. That's what you can say. And so I think it was a success.
I wouldn't
Now
say
moving on to the
I wouldn't say an injury
Go
bug
ahead.
hit us. I think it was more as poor coaching. Because like I mean Denzel was out for maybe 3 or 4 games with the concussion yet again. God,
He just had very
he needs to retire,
few
dude.
weeks here and there. It wasn't where it was season ending. Like even whereas his running back was hurt for a few weeks. It's just one of those years that you had one or two players out for 1 or 2 weeks, 2 or 3 times, and it cost you.
Well, it happens every year.
That was kind of my point.
It sucks. It's always the big
It's
players
every
every
NFL
year.
team too. Yeah.
But it's just like Denzel Ward has a concussion for 4 games every single year. He needs I'm being genuine, even though I love him and we signed him to a massive contract for his own
It-
health. He needs to retire. Like for his own health. It's insane.
Once
But
you get more than 3 concussions, I think you should hang up the cleats.
he's had one for every
I think
single year of
after
his
that
5 year
third,
career. Every single year of his 5 year career.
yeah, and so that would meet the criteria
Yep.
of once you've hit 3. Mental health. Look at Josh McCown. He can't go anywhere. He doesn't wear those glasses to be cool. He wears those glasses because he gets serious migraines if he ever goes out and where there's any light.
Yeah, it's
Former Bears quarterback,
terrible.
Super Bowl shuffle quarterback. Questions. That's what it was. And so, moving on from that topic a little bit and going to Deshaun's future with the Browns, being the resident Browns, wearing your Browns hat there. What do you think about Deshaun coming forward this season and moving forward in the next future?
Well, when we traded for him, it was all
Mhm.
about next season. This season was a wash. If we
So-
would have, even if we made the play, let's say we were 8-3, and Deshaun's coming back for a 6 game run, it's still about next season, because he's gonna have
Yeah.
rust. I will admit I think the Texans game will win not because of Deshaun Watson. We're gonna win that because the Texans suck. Just because they
Yeah.
suck. They want Bryce Young. They suck. That's the only reason we're gonna win. And then I will say what's the next game? Was it Bengals or Ravens? I think it was Ravens after them, right? It goes
I'm actually
Texans.
looking right now.
Yeah, does it go Texans, Ravens, Bengals, or something like that?
It goes Houston, Cincinnati, Bengals.
Okay. So that Cincinnati game is where I think the true test of what he is right now. Because the Texans game, it'll be emotional for him. Every commentator the entire game is going to keep talking about, oh, the Texans covered up all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. He's going to suck.
It's gonna be embarrassing.
He's going to suck.
It's
fine. He's going to suck.
I think he'll go 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yeah, it's going to be a bad game. And those 2 touchdowns are going to be like super easy, just 1 yard tosses. Cool. If we lose that game, I'm going to be so mad. But yeah, the Bengals game is where I think it'll
It's
matter.
a sleeper pick. I really, if I was a betting man to get good odds, what does Vegas have it at right now? To get good odds on getting a good return on a game. Let's see. But yeah, no, it's definitely a -8 goal right there.
Wow.
-8. That's crazy on that scale. Could get a really good return on a bet for the Texans. And I think that would be a sleeper pick there. But no, I think the Browns will win
Yeah.
for the rest of the season. Like you said, it's a wash.
Yeah, it does not matter. We can go 6-0. I don't care. I genuinely don't care. It's all about next season. We got Deshaun Watson for 17 games. We have Amari Cooper for 17 games. What can those two do? We're gonna lose Kareem Hunt sadly, just because of money. I want to see because we don't have our first round pick, but we have our second round pick. So let's say we do go 3-3. Let's just say 3-3. We're 7-10. We have a top 7 pick. We have the top 7 pick in the second round, and we have 2/3. So we can still technically move into the first round, or we can stay still. Whatever.
You got the capital.
Yeah, we have some capital. It's just not first round capital. So like I've always said. Also we get another third. We will have 3/3 because Kwesi Brown last year, not Kwesi Brown, whatever his name is, got the Vikings. They hired him as a GM, and he's a black GM. So we get another third. We have 3/3 next year. That's 3/3. So like, yes,
I forgot about that rule.
yeah, I could believe that. So I remember.
NFL.
Yeah, that's another third. So we have 3 third-round picks next year. I truly believe that we're gonna fire a defensive coordinator because again, it's all about next season. I've given up on this season. I don't care. We're not gonna win a Super Bowl. I don't care. Next season though, new defensive coordinator, clean the house of the defense. Anyone who's not on a rookie contract or Myles Garrett, get out. We don't want you anymore. We're done. This defense needs a cleansing. It's all about next season. This offense, copy and paste it. I don't care if Deshaun Watson can throw for 20 touchdowns, but if we're as efficient as we are right now next year, that's what I want. So this year, I've kind of given up. Deshaun Watson, he can go 3-3, throw 10, 15 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. We could go 10-7, 8-9. I don't care.
Go draft a young wide receiver in the later rounds.
Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee. Josh Downs from North Carolina. 2 wide receivers I would love. I think we also need defensive tackle, but it's not really defensive tackle. Like last year's class was deep. It was deep. This year's class is not deep at all. After like Brian Brzee and Jalen Carter, it really is no one. But I think pass rush is what we're gonna focus on next year because there's a bunch of pass rushers. I mean, there's a bunch of safeties as well that I like, but I think that this year, I really don't care. I'm done with this year. My body, my mind are done with this year. If we win games, I'll be happy. But I'm not gonna be. I don't care if we don't make the playoffs. So my expectations for Deshaun Watson is maybe 15 touchdowns because that's what I expect. He's supposed to be a franchise quarterback. In 6 games, a franchise quarterback should have 15 touchdowns. Maybe 5 to 8 interceptions, and most of them will be again in the first 3 games. Because we end the season.
He's a super efficient quarterback. I actually don't even know if he'll even have that many.
Well, I'm thinking the first 3 weeks. I think after the first 3 weeks, because we have the Steelers, Commanders. What's the other team? Because we have 6 games left. Oh, I know it's the Steelers and the Commanders we end the season on.
Yeah.
Easy defenses, easy secondaries. I think he'll throw a bunch of touchdowns. But next season, if he isn't one of the top 5 quarterbacks in all the stats, I think it's a bad trade. Because you trade your entire future, you trade your entire PR. Like you punted your PR out the window when we traded for him. So if he's not a top 5 quarterback for the 4 years he's here, I'll be very unhappy.
It's not about anything. Super Bowl or bust.
No, it is.
If you guys don't win if you guys do not win one Super Bowl, I think the Stafford trade will be looked upon as a success. You won a Super Bowl. That was your goal. It doesn't matter if they completely suck for the next 20 years. You won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Similar with the Browns. If they do not win a Super Bowl, it was a fail. That's high expectations for any team.
I think with the Browns, they'll have a longer timetable to win that Super Bowl because he's only 26. Shockingly, he's 100%. Only 26. Like Russ, you have a 2-year window with Russ before your team he gets
you have a little bit longer. What's he?
He's 30, like 34, 33 maybe.
Before 35. So logically, if we're going by Tom Brady numbers,
I'm not going by Tom Brady numbers. He's one of one. He's one of one.
I think he could make 40. Russ has come out saying he wants to make 40, get to 40. I think he can transition his game into more of a passing. He has a beautiful deep ball, as long as his arm doesn't give out or anything like that. So you logically have another 5-6 years at the most. But yeah, with Deshaun, you got
15 years. Yeah, you have 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
So and he said he wants to retire in Cleveland. That's what he said. And I think if we keep Kevin Stefanski, he is good enough to make Deshaun Watson a top 5 quarterback. Because he made Jacoby Brissett a top 5 quarterback. He made a backup quarterback a top 5 quarterback in PFF standings. So I think
least the
easily
top 10.
Deshaun.
I think legacy aside, um, just, he was innocent because there wasn't enough evidence. Whatever you want to say. Moving past that, just talking about the football aspect of it, not anything that happened or anything like that. The discussion for it's been talked about way more than it really even should have been.
Yep.
I think he should be in jail. I'm pretty sure everyone feels that way, but at the end of the day, he's now a quarterback. So just looking at the football aspect of it, I think he 100% should be a top 5 quarterback.
As he was before the trade.
Yeah, as he was before the trade and as he was coming in the NFL. I still cringe. Now I cringe a little less because of what happened, but I still cringe that we took Trubisky over him and Patrick Mahomes. But
Well, I think they would have nipped it in the bud. Because you got to remember, the Texans hit it. They hit it. They knew it was happening. So, like, as much as people want to talk crap about the Browns, the Texans actively hid that he was doing this crap, man. Like, that's what's insane to me.
horrible ownership.
Yeah, like, honestly, to me, that is the craziest part. That is. Like,
Yeah.
people, like, there's terrible people in the NFL. They do bad stuff. We all agree. But the owners of an NFL team covered up that.
They should not be owners anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
opinion
That's
on
the
that.
conversation isn't around that. The conversation is no one has said that yet.
We pushed out the ownership and with the Panthers for what he did.
Yep.
You should have the owners should have came together and pushed out the Texans. Period. Yep. You hit it. I don't care if he was proven innocent, whatever you want to say. There's 2 teams ownerships that I think should no longer be owners. That's the Patriots owner. That is the Houston ownership.
Dan Snyder?
No, not Dan Snyder.
No, I'm saying, but Dan Snyder, you want to keep an NFL franchise?
No.
So 3.
Not him either. I'm saying definite should be probably in jail.
Oh, yeah. Again, Dan Snyder, I'd add the 3rd. I'd add
yeah,
Dan
probably.
Snyder.
I probably would too.
Yeah, so speaking of teams that we like in their quarterbacks, Justin Fields, as a non-Bears fan, as a non-Bears fan, I love Justin Fields. Again, I like the Browns, so as a Browns fan, I have to like OSU. Like, it's kind of like if you go one, like I don't like OSU, but I definitely watch OSU more than I watch anyone else, just because I'm a Browns fan. Justin Fields is
got smoked.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Justin Fields is easily one of my favorite quarterbacks to root for. I'm happy that they finally stopped looking at him as a pocket passer and is now more of a dual threat. I love that. What is your opinion on not only Justin Fields, but your current coaching staff's use and development of Justin Fields?
Mm-hmm. Let's look at his stats real quick going off of the season. He's got just below a 60%. He's 59.6.
Well, that's not great.
He's got 1,600 yards.
That's
no
not
Bears
great.
quarterback. No Bears quarterback ever has passed over 4,000 yards.
What?
In the history, and they are the only team that has never had a quarterback pass for over 4,000 yards.
I mean, we've had
the
one.
Fact that he is on pace to hit that mark almost. If he would have stayed healthy in a few more games, he would have. And then, I mean, being a little past the halfway point, throw in the 2 more games, he was almost on pace for 30 touchdowns. I mean, it's been a good season. Not to mention his rushing stats. His rushing stats right now, 1,600. No, that's his career.
But I say 1,600 rushing yards. Hold up, this man's MVP.
No, it's his. Let's go rushing.
But I say this man's gonna be the MVP conversation. 1,600 rushing and throwing.
No.
A lot. I know it's a lot. I mean, he has the record. He broke the record this year.
He broke the single game record for quarter. It's a lot. It's 6. It's in the numbers. I can't find it right now.
That's fine.
And I'm not gonna waste time on it. But, dude, I told you last year. Me and a few friends, we decided one of our friends, mutual friends, is actually a Miami fan. We went up to Soldier Field to watch Justin Fields play against the Miami Dolphins. I will tell you right now, it is the best quarterback performance preseason game that I've ever seen. He balled out. He won my heart. From that day forward, I've been a Justin Fields supporter. To answer your other question, my coaching scheme and how they're kind of moving forward to that, I didn't like our head coaching hire until we hired the coordinator that we did. So we hired the coordinator that we did. Our offensive coordinator has done a great job with Justin. Now, beginning of the season, they were holding back a little bit. They're a little hesitant, but they've come out and said these plays that we're running now have been in the playbook the whole time. We weren't running them because we weren't ready to run them. Now they're ready. They're running them good, but now he's hurt. And that's where my fear with a rushing look at RG3, look at even Andrew Luck, who is kind of semi-mobile quarterback. Look at any other their window of opportunity for if we're talking 10-year legacy, it scares me. That's why I wouldn't give Lamar a long contract. That's why I wouldn't give. If you run as a quarterback, automatically your numbers drop down past that 10-year mark. Look at Cam Newton, MVP to he couldn't even start on a bad Patriot team. Like it's just it's scary to me, the rushing aspect. But he has a cannon of an arm, and if we can teach him to play more like a Russell Wilson type, slide down, throw it away if you have to. I love our future with Justin Fields, especially the next 5 years.
Well, Russ, when he first came out, was a rushing quarterback. In 2012,
100%.
2013, I would say he was more akin to Justin Fields right now than Justin Fields is to Russell Wilson right now. But again, Russ learned very quickly because he got that hip injury.
Yes.
I forgot what year it was, but that hip
I
injury,
don't remember either.
it completely changed his
It's on
career. Completely changed his
Well,
career.
100%. What also really helped Russell is he also played baseball, so he already had the slide in him. I'm telling you right now, call up Russell Wilson, call up maybe even one of his coaches that had him, and teach Justin. I'm sure get one of the Cubs people.
That's what I'm saying. I'd call the
Get one of the
Cubs.
player.
I'd call the
Call the
Cubs.
Get someone over there to teach Justin the best MLB slide that they can do. Get him sliding. If he can slide, give me 15 years with Justin Fields. I'll go all the way. We'll win 1 or 2 Super Bowls for sure with him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go that far just because I don't know how the rest of your team is gonna develop. I love Jaquan Brisker. Love Jaquan Brisker. I love him. I'm so happy that he's starting because there's a lot of young players need to start immediately to actually develop, and that's why I've always said if you draft a quarterback and like within the first 2 or 3 rounds, start him day one. Just start him day one. Like it's gonna be more helpful.
We made a mistake starting Andy last year over Justin. Yep. Just throw him in.
Every team right now is making a mistake.
Start him.
Yeah. Every team right now that Kenny Pickett. Like I hate that they put I like Trubisky. I think he could have been a good quarterback if given the right scheme.
I think he was an average quarterback with bad schemes and bad coaches.
But they should have started Kenny Pickett immediately. I will never understand spending a high capital pick.
If you were going to draft a quarterback this season, then our Trubisky should not have been on your roster.
No, I'm all for him being on the roster.
No, listen, I still view, even with his performance this year, I still view Trubisky as a starting. Now, is he towards the end of that list? Yeah. Is he 25 out of the 32 in the league? Yeah, 100%. That's where he's going to be on the scale of NFL quarterbacks. But I don't view him outside of the top 32. I don't think there's 32 quarterbacks that are better than Mitchell Trubisky in this league right now. I just don't. And so 100%. I think Justin should have started from day one. We're now seeing we've kind of seen a full season from him now, like what a full season would have looked like. Mm-hmm. And now we're seeing what really should have been doing. I liked Nagy. I actually still like Nagy as coach. I think he should get another head coaching job. It was done. And the fact that you guys gave him another year to play around and do stuff, it was just a joke. It messed with Justin. It was just a whole last year really ruined a lot of the. If we do not work with Justin as a quarterback, it is 100% the management's fault for giving them that one joke of a year to do whatever they were doing. That's why, knew as Bears fans in the NFL, that they were gone after that year. So why give them that year?
That's why with Trevor Lawrence, I'm so surprised that Doug Peterson has done a great job with him. Like he had a Justin Fields first year. Now, yes, he did start the entire time, but he had Urban Meyer. Is that really
Yeah.
starting?
What I Yes.
Like, is
No.
that actually starting for a quarterback?
Well, Urban Meyer is a good coach. The issue with
College,
Urban Meyer,
good college coach.
college, 100%. I think he could have been a good NFL coach. Issue being, what was the expectation was he came in a group of men and treated them like boys.
Yep.
Can't do that in the NFL. You can't do it. You got a bunch of men that are making way more money than you. You can't come in and start kicking them and pushing them around and bossing them.
Crazy
Works in
story,
college.
dude.
It does not
It's
work
a
in the
crazy
NFL.
story. I can't believe that actually happened.
Yeah,
Kicked his
but no,
kicker.
yeah,
Insane.
no, I really like what Doug Peterson has done I love him as a coach. Actually, what I wanted the Bears to do, and they almost hired him this year, was he preferred the Chicago job over the Jacksonville job. He
As he
wanted to go
should.
to Chicago. Yeah, 100%. But he wanted to go to Chicago. The Bears chose, you know, the guy that we got. I can't remember
Matt
off the
Eberflus.
top of my head. That's really bad. Matt Eberflus. Thank you. Um, that's how much I just don't care of him as a head coach. It's just, and he's fine. I think if he starts winning, cool. If he doesn't, go get another head coach. I don't really care. But that being said, I wanted Doug Peterson as our head coach 2 years ago. I wanted him to come in with Justin Fields. Could have kept Ryan Pace. I still liked Ryan Pace as a GM. I didn't think it was his fault or what we had going on. I think Nagy failed in that position. Fire Nagy, hire Doug Peterson on the table. And they didn't do it. They decided to play chicken, and they ended up with the results of playing chicken. They're now bottom of the NFL. Their defense have been exploded.
And it's one of
We're in
the.
a complete rebuild.
It's also one of the worst defenses in the NFL as defensive head coach. By the way, he has number 28 defense as
We
a defensive head
traded
coach.
we traded all of our top picks, our top players. I didn't expect us to be a good defensive team.
That's true. I like your young guys though. I do like your young guys. You guys have a good
We have a
future.
good core there. We have a good core. And
Yes. And speaking
next
of
year will be
good,
the tail.
yeah. Speaking of good young cores, the New York Jets, Jets, Jets. The New York
Robert Saleh.
Jets. Yeah, I love Robert Saleh. He is one of my favorite defensive coaches in the league. The New York Jets. They just benched Zach Wilson for Mike White again. This is the second time this has now happened. They benched Zach Wilson for Mike White. I think the first time it was because of injury, but again, whatever. Mike White popped off 3 touchdowns. I believe it was 80% completion percentage for over 300 yards, or maybe just under 300 yards. Zach Wilson has yet to have a performance where he throws more than two touchdowns. That includes without a turnover. He has had a turnover almost every time he has started the season. Joe Flacco earlier this season went 2-1 as a quarterback. Mike White is now 1-0. That is 3 of their wins as the New York Jets come from their backup quarterbacks. One of them being 37 years old. So if what?
Cool, man.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good. It's not good at all. What do the New York Jets do about Zach Wilson and his future?
I think you've ruined that relationship there. I think if you're going back and forth with a quarterback in the NFL, you can do it in college a little bit. And in college, I don't like it. But if you're benching a quarterback and starting him and benching him, there's not faith there. If you're not replacing the coach, one of the two has to go. You're not going to fire Robert Saleh. Zach Wilson is no longer your franchise guy. Sucks. But you know what the Cardinals did? Cardinals had a good pick that they picked a NFL Rosen. Went and got Rosen, who was supposed to be next to Aaron Rodgers. He was supposed to do all this crazy stuff. He sucked. He was a flop. He was a bust. Knew it. The GM and the coaching staff decided, you know what?
Well,
We're
the
not
coach
going
just
to
got
be
fired.
a bust. Well, the coach got fired.
No, everyone got
Well, yeah,
fired.
I'm saying the future coaching staff decided we're going to move on from Josh Rosen. And that's credit to the GMs mostly, but they decided, and the ownership, we're going to go in with Murray. We're going to look bad, messed up, and I think that's what the New York Jets do. Trade him, get a second round. I think that's what he's worth right now, maybe a second round pick. could get a first if you add in, conditional fourth, whatever you want to do to that to kind of boost up your odds there. Get another pick, and I think you move on this year and try to get one of those young QBs coming out of the NCAA.
So I'm actually going to show the cap repercussion from trading or cutting Zach Wilson. So let me actually go to Over the Cap right now. Over the Cap is a great website. I use it all the time for my videos. So we're going to go to cap calculator, to the New York Jets, if I can find them. There they are. The New York Jets. So I did a video on this that I never actually posted because I just forgot about it, and then I found it a couple days later, and it was too late. So in 2023, Zach Wilson, if you cut him post June 1st, so June 1st is a great day. It's where most contracts roll over. So if you cut Zach Wilson post June 1st, you lose $6 million in next year's cap, but you gain $5 million in 2024. If you trade him, however, you gain in both years. You gain $4 million in 2023, and you gain $5 million in 2024.
So I stand by my statement.
Yep. Trading Zach Wilson post June 1st this upcoming season.
Deal with him. Do a similar deal that the Lions did with Stafford. What team you want to go to? We'll make it wheel and deal.
Let me do that. Yeah, Zach Wilson, as of right now, I think he's gone from the Jets. I think if they do start him again this season, it'll be as a like what they did with Baker Mayfield the end of last season. It's gonna be putting tape on. Yeah, it's putting tape on so your next team knows what you are. But I think that they're done. And a quarterback who is a free agent this year, who has connections with Robert Saleh, has connections with their offensive coordinator, who I'm blanking on his name right now, Matt LaFleur. It's Mike LaFleur. Sorry, Mike. Mike LaFleur, yep. Matt LaFleur's brother. Mike LaFleur was the offensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. Robert Saleh was a defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. What quarterback is a free agent this offseason? Jimmy Garoppolo is a free agent this upcoming offseason. I think that if they can get off of Zach Wilson, whether it's a second-round pick, a third-round pick, whatever they have to do,
and we'll take a swing on him.
Yeah, I would put good money that it's already written in paper that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to the Jets. I would put good money. This is where they get, again, like I said earlier, Anthony Richardson is an interesting day 2 pick. Tanner McKee, Tyler Van Dyke. If they can somehow get Will Levis in the first round, you go Jimmy G for 2 years. Now, again, as I said earlier, I don't like when they sit quarterbacks with high draft capital picks, but I think this is a situation.
If you draft a quarterback this year, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't start him either. This Jets team, if they have a quarterback, Super Bowl team, they're in the hunt. This defense is hungry and young and cheap.
They are on the fence. They're on the fence right now. They could definitely be a Jacksonville Jaguars from, 2015, where they 17. Had a crazy year. And
17.
Where they went to the AFC Championship or divisional round. I don't remember which, where they just made a deep playoff run.
With Blake Bortles on the list.
Everyone's like, they're the future.
Yeah,
it could be the next young team in that division that pops off. Robert Saleh I believe in him as a head coach. Need a quarterback. And so Jimmy G, I think, would fill that void there definitely for the Jets.
Yeah, I think that because when I researched that, I was like, okay, so you can move off Zach Wilson. You you can get a second or a third round draft pick back. What quarterback can fill his role for a year? Oh my God, Jimmy Garoppolo is a free agent this offseason.
It's insane. He's a free agent. You know who else is not happy with their team?
Who's that?
Has played second fiddle to his predecessor or his predecessor.
If you say Aaron Rodgers. Oh my God.
Rodgers. Go to the New York Jets and tell me that would not look amazing.
That New York media.
That's who you should target.
That New York media.
That's who you look.
I wouldn't do it. Why? Want to know why? Want to know why? How many draft picks is it going to take to get Aaron Rodgers to the New York Jets? How many draft picks?
I think
at least one first.
Trade Zach Wilson. They don't believe in love. If they believe in love, Rodgers would not be on that team. Um, I think you're gonna see at least two first.
I wouldn't do it already. Nope, I'm done. I'm out. I
At
would
least
rather
two
I would
first.
I'd rather take Jimmy
Zach
Garoppolo.
Wilson attached. I would
Mm-mm.
too.
I would take
I
Jimmy
100%
G.
would too.
I would take Jimmy G and 2 first-round picks. I'd rather keep than spend them on Aaron Rodgers for
How
a year or
long do you
two.
think? Well, let's see. Let's look on the other side. How long do you think Rodgers has left in the league? I mean, he's already been talking about retirement.
I think this is the last year. I'm being serious. I think this is the
I
last
think.
year. I would.
I think with a different team, he could find.
Yeah.
He's physically fine.
No, if he gets traded, he's there for another 2 or 3 years.
I could see a 3 to 5 year window. I wouldn't do it. It was just a good headline, good move.
I would be so
Fun.
angry if this young developing team took in the head case of Aaron Rodgers wanting to
Here's the
retire
thing:
every year.
if you could do a similar thing to the Rams did, the Rams sold their draft picks. They sold their soul to the devil to get a Super Bowl. Right now, this young Jets team have the pieces. Go ahead, go trade for Lazard and Rodgers.
You don't. They don't need a wide receiver, dude. They have Elijah Moore, Corey Davis,
Add
Garrett
Aaron,
Wilson.
Aaron Jones. Not Aaron Jones. Who's their backup?
Oh, no. It would be so. Aaron Jones actually has an out after this year, to where they could cut him and save money. So I think it would have to be Aaron Jones.
Whoever.
But they have Breece Hall and they have Breece Hall and they have James Robinson.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it would be. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. It would be
An interesting trade.
I think there'll be conversation. I think there'll definitely be a conversation in New York about that. If we're gonna sit, all right, who do we want to target? I think Jimmy G should be at the top of that list. Obviously, I think Aaron Rodgers is in that top 3 conversation of people we could honestly target.
Yeah.
Go after.
Yeah, I would love for the Jets because they don't want their quarterback running around. I don't think because again with Joe Flacco at 37 years old, a pocket passer, they went 2-1. Maybe it might have been 4 games actually. I don't know, but we faced them week 2.
I'm not sure.
I know we faced them week 2 or 3, and that was his last week. I'm pretty sure, but I know he was insane. Like he played very well. Get Jimmy Garoppolo for what 12 to maybe 16 million a year, maybe 16. For 2 years.
With the relationship that he has with the coaching staff, you could probably get him at 16, 15.
Like, dude, because I was just doing a video. I'm like, okay, let's get him off Zach Wilson. What quarterback is available in the 2023 NFL free agent class? First name, Jimmy Garoppolo.
I can't think of anyone else that would fit that role.
No,
better than Jimmy G.
Yeah, I completely agree. Because I mean I like Jacoby Brissett, but I just don't think that would be a good spot for him.
I think he's probably on the list of the conversations that you might go after. I don't think he's the guy that they would put their future into.
Yeah, I think Jimmy G's a starter and Jacoby is a spot starter, and that's a very big difference when you want someone to start.
I think Jimmy G could be a 5-year starter for the New York Jets easily.
I don't know about 5 years. He's like what? He's 32 or 33. He's up there in age.
Again, and he's been injured a lot too, but
not recently though. The last 2 or 3 years, he's been healthy. Was he injured last year?
Last year he got hurt though. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't even know.
He got hurt in the playoffs.
Oh.
He wasn't gonna start. Well, he wasn't gonna start because of Trey Lance, and regardless, but.
Yeah, I don't remember.
He wasn't ready to start the season. Yeah.
Oh.
Got hurt in the playoff game. He played hurt. He went back out there. He told the coach, "Screw it, we're in the playoffs. I'm going for it."
Yeah, but if I'm the New York Jets, I'm personally moving off Zach Wilson. Get anything back for him because he's still 24 years old. He's shown some flashes, but he's also shown a lot of bad moments.
Ask for maybe.
I mean, ask for a first, obviously.
Ask for a first. Zach Wilson, obviously, and throw in a second or a third. You'd get a first.
Yeah, and I think that again.
I want to go higher than a third if I was the Jets.
Yeah.
Add a third onto that. Add XYZ player that's on the 4th string of the roster that looks good, whatever that player might be, to sweeten the deal, and a lot of teams would accept that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Titans would. I think the Titans are a great spot.
Percent.
Because I think
the Titans would be. I think that would be perfect landing spot. One maybe not perfect, but one of the teams that Zach Wilson would look at and be like, "Yeah, I'll go there. I ain't gonna have any complaints. I'm going from
it's a playoff team.
That's to them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a playoff team. The playoff team. You have Malik Willis. So like,
They
if you do suck,
he's not coming back.
yeah,
If he's not coming
I don't
back,
think Ryan Tannehill's. I think he's done after this year.
and yeah, yeah.
But I mean,
I
like
was
you
gonna
have in
like
the
in that
back of your head.
AFC, like you,
I think in the back of your head, you know that you have Malik Willis behind you. So if you play bad, you will be benched. I think the Colts are another team as well. The Colts
just
are another team.
I really, that could be another team. I have no faith in the. Oh, I don't think the Colts should have moved off Carson Wentz. He didn't have a
Nope,
bad year.
I don't agree. I don't think they should have either. I think they should have stuck with him.
What the
But
heck?
that it
It
was
was a
that last week.
complete ego.
No, it was the last
Complete
week.
ego. Yeah, no, it was a complete ego trip by their ownership
Yeah.
that said that we want to move on. It was completely dumb, and I think they would have been a completely different team this year, and even a borderline playoff team
Yeah, they would have won the division.
this year. If
They would have won the
kept them.
division. So that's my opinion. I think they would have won the
They
division.
would have battled out with the Tennessee Titans, but I think I truly do actually. I think Carson Wentz, because he's played pretty decent with the Washington Commanders.
Well, he's not anymore. It's Taylor Heineke, man.
No,
He got benched for
it's
Taylor Heineke.
Heineke, which can give Carson a full 17 game season. Give him a start to the end. Give him a season. Let him show who he is. After that, if he sucks, he's gone out of the league, backup, whatever you want to call him. He's been called the locker room cancer. I don't know. I can't speak to that. But ultimately, he was borderline in 20 whatever year it was, 2017,
5 years
I think.
ago.
Borderline, yeah, borderline MVP conversation. What do we like? Give him a chance. Give him a full season. No team's done that, and I think it's a mistake. But yeah, Jimmy G to the Jets, I think is your art. Hey, Philip, not
No, not Philip Rivers.
Carson Wentz to the Jets would be an interesting.
I don't think they're doing
That'd
that.
be a bridge.
I think the Jets, if they're moving off Zach Wilson, it's because they want to win a Super Bowl within the next 2 years. Because they have Sauce Gardner on a rookie deal, Bryce Hall on a rookie deal. Their defensive line is in their prime right now. Their offense, they have all their wide receivers on rookie deals. They have their running backs on rookie deals. Mekhi Becton.
If
Mekhi
you're going
Becton sucks.
Super Bowl, if you're going Super Bowl, Jimmy G is your cheap pick. Aaron Rodgers is your expensive pick.
Yep.
Those two quarterbacks are the two that I would go after legitimately if we want to win a quarterback or a Super Bowl in the next few years. I think Aaron Rodgers gives you a better chance because Jimmy G's been injury prone.
And he's Jimmy G.
He's led a team to the Super Bowl, and he's Jimmy G. He's above average quarterback. He's an above average quarterback. That's what he is.
You know his limitations. That's why you work around him.
Mm-hmm. I think you could sweet talk Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers and everyone in that situation.
Wins.
Get Zach Wilson and get maybe only one first round pick and a bunch of later round picks. Set it up to where they get Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers would be energized for the next 2-3 seasons to maybe win a few Super Bowls in New York.
Yeah, I think it'd be I think he would love because again, didn't Brett Favre go to the Jets?
He did for 1 year.
Yeah, I think he would 100% do that to prove that he was better than Brett Favre. I think he would 100% do that because like his entire career he's been compared to Brett Favre because he's a Packers quarterback. So I think he goes.
One of the only reasons he came back was because he wanted to break Brett Favre's all-time passer.
Yeah.
In Green Bay.
I'm sure that's one of the reasons.
It has to be one of the only reasons he didn't retire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's all the topics we got for today. It is very late. We should probably wrap this up. You got anything else to say? Any plugs? Any?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I think that with this podcast, we're moving forward. It's going to look good. I had fun talking to you. I hope this works out good. But yeah,
I'm excited. But if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be notified when we go live and post videos next, because all these will be in short form content as well. I'll leave all of our links in the description to our Twitters, whatever we want to make public. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys later. Peace and bye.